Hello everyone, and welcome to my Wednesday podcast. I am kicking off a new series that I'll be doing once a month on beautiful women. I don't think there's anyone better, anyone more famous or celebrated to start with than Marilyn Monroe. Born June 1st, 1926 in Los Angeles, California, as Norma Jean Mortensen, Marilyn Monroe is probably the most celebrated female sex symbol ever. And what I'd like to do, aside from all the things that you know about her, she was married 3 times, Arthur Miller, Joe DiMaggio, and James Dougherty. She had no children. I'd like to give you some other trivia about her. That's kind of some cool stuff that I have put together. Okay, Marilyn carried around this book with her, the biography of Abraham Lincoln. She loved books, but she very rarely actually read one all the way through. She felt that she could get the gist of it in just a few pages, and that was good enough. Her ex-husband, Joe DiMaggio, who was obviously very smitten, with her, he used to put fresh roses on her grave for a long, long time, many years and years after her death. Now, here's something that I had heard in the past, and I've read it in many places, good places, seem to be verifiable places, that Marilyn was terrified of blemishes on her face, and she believed that makeup was horrible for your skin, which, I think especially back in her day, looking at the 1950s, 40s even, because she was born in 1926 as a young woman in the 1940s, makeup was heavier. I know that they used to wear something called pancake, which was some pretty heavy-duty stuff. Well, she was afraid that she would ruin her skin. She washed her face, get this, 15 times a day. That's 15 times a day. Okay? She was close friends with Ella Fitzgerald, which I think is totally cool because I love Ella and all of her wonderful music. And Ella helped Marilyn by arranging for her to sing in nightclubs and such, so that she would be more comfortable singing and connecting with a live audience and not just always in front of the camera. Marilyn Monroe stuttered, okay? And that's something that is not very much known, by a lot of people, and that she had to have a vocal coach who helped her with diction lessons to overcome the stuttering problem. She was not a natural in front of the camera, okay? She started out as a model, but she didn't really do that well. She had dark hair originally, and it wasn't really until she decided to bleach her hair, which was much later, that she tried many different colors of blonde, in fact, a honey blonde, a red blonde, and then she finally settled on that super, bleached platinum blonde. That was her trademark. That's when she started getting more jobs, okay? The dress that she wore to serenade John F. Kennedy on his birthday in 1962 was so tight that it had to be sewn onto her, and she had to sit for approximately an hour, okay? That dress, by the way, was sold for a record, Guinness World Book of Records, as the most expensive piece of clothing ever sold. Hope you're sitting down. $1.267 million, okay? $1 million. Okay. Her first modeling job only paid her $5, which I mentioned to you. She didn't really do well as a model at first, and she was still Norma Jean Mortensen back in the 40s. She didn't change her name legally till 1956. Okay. Sadly, she became pregnant twice in 1957 and 1958, and it was during her marriage to Arthur Miller. She had miscarriages, as some of you may know, that there may have been some doubt about whether they were actually miscarriages, that it may have actually been an abortion, and we don't really know. I mean, I've looked that up in a few different places, and there are some people who say that their mother or their brother or somebody knew her, and that it was in fact purposely. She terminated her pregnancy purposely, and there were others that said no, she had miscarriages because she had problems with endometriosis, and that she had problems with keeping a baby, carrying the baby. She did in real life wear glasses. Okay. She died in 1962 at the age of 36, and it was pretty horrible. She was found in her house, and she was nude, and that was something that was a big deal. That was said much in the news, and people said, "Oh, Marilyn was found naked." Well, I don't think that was very right to say that about her, but especially I think back and even today, I think that they would say it. Someone was found naked, laying face down, naked. Okay. She has had, get this, over 600 books written about her. Imagine having 600 books written about someone, and it's not a president, or it's not, someone who is, someone big in politics or something. Okay. She and an actress named Shelley Winters, they were roommates in 1940s Hollywood, and they were kind of like, good buddies, and she, she used to hang out with her, and Ella Fitzgerald and Shelley Winters and Marilyn Monroe, they were good friends. Okay, something kind of sad, that she used to mix sleeping pills with champagne, okay, in order to fall asleep at night. It was, it wasn't, such a great thing to do, obviously. But she did a little bit of slugging, guys, on her face, mainly on her lips, though. She used Vaseline quite a bit on her face. And let's see, I think I've got pretty much covered my list here. She was in 1953, many of you know, she was in the first Playboy magazine. And she was the Sweetheart of the Month in December 1953. And she wasn't named, okay? And again, especially back in those days, people didn't want to know who, that they were nude in a magazine. But she loved Nivea moisturizer, by the way, and I love Nivea, and I'm a big fan of it. So we kind of have that in common. And I like the way she dressed. I like the way that she presented herself. She could be a bit risque. She was famous for not wearing anything under her clothes, and she just did not worry if she was maybe a little bit rounder, a little bit fuller than she used to be, and it all worked. It worked for her, and it has been an enduring a love, I think, from people for her. I think that people will never stop caring about Marilyn Monroe trivia, Marilyn Monroe books and movies, and who knows, there may be another 100 written. It might be up from 600 to 700 books, So I think that I'm going to end this Wednesday podcast, and thank you all for being here. And I would ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to build this, and I will be talking about a famous, beautiful woman once a month. And have a wonderful, wonderful day.